John, and I plan to be your one-stop shop for action movies, comic book movies, and the occasional horror movie reviews and rankings. And today, we've got a brand new Liam Neeson thriller directed by Mark Williams, and that is Honest Thief. So let's get into this. So let's just start by talking about the action. The action is... There's probably fewer action scenes than you might expect going into it, but they are exciting enough. They're not going to be the greatest action scenes. They're not going to blow your mind or anything like that. But there's, in my opinion, there's enough of them, and they're spaced out decent enough, and they're good enough to keep you engaged in the movie. And so let's just move on to the acting and the characters. The standout character for me was Agent Hall, acted by Anthony Ramos. He had a good backstory, and his motivations were pretty clear, and he was kind of a standout for that reason. And the performance was decent. It was good. And then Liam Neeson, he gives a good enough performance, and I think he has a really good backstory as well. And then I think he has great chemistry with Katie Walsh in this movie. And so I love their dynamic. And, outside of that, you have Jeffrey Donovan's character, Agent Myers, who's given a good backstory at the beginning, but he's just kind of one of those characters that does whatever they kind of need him to do. He kind of goes along with things a little too easily, especially for being kind of the main detective. And then you have Jai Courtney, who plays the villain. He doesn't have any backstory at all. He's just kind of, and no development either. He's just kind of a greedy villain that just wants the money. Now on to the visuals. They're good enough for the most part. They're not going to distract you. There's a couple shots that feel off. There's one Dutch angle in particularly that caught my eye. Felt out of place, but overall, it's not necessarily going to distract you. It's good enough to keep you into the movie. There is a explosion that visually didn't look executed to the best of its ability in the third act, but like I said, a lot of the couple shots, that explosion, those are all very nitpicky things. The visuals are overall pretty decent. And so moving on to the story, like I said, characters, all outside of Jai Courtney, all the characters have good backstories. Most of them have decent enough development to keep you engaged in the movie. But the story itself, it's pretty basic, You have a corrupt cop that kind of takes the criminal's money, then the criminal who wants to retire and turn himself in has to run him down and catch him and prove his innocence within that situation. It's just kind of a typical story right there. But they do throw in things to add some spice to it with backstories, especially I think Liam Neeson's backstory adds a little spice to it. This film does have a lot of action thriller tropes to it, but personally I didn't mind them as much. Tropes exist because there's an audience that enjoys them, and I'm kind of part of that audience as well. And so I didn't mind. They didn't bother me that much. And so I think the story overall is pretty fine. It's pretty good. It doesn't make any big errors or anything. It's decent enough to keep you engaged and excited throughout the movie, in my opinion. And then just lastly, the sound. It's good. It's nothing that you're necessarily going to remember about this movie, but it's also not something that's going to distract you too much from enjoying the movie. So overall, I think this is a decent enough Liam Neeson thriller. I think fans of this type of movie, fans of this genre, will find enough to enjoy this movie like I did. I think I enjoyed it more than probably most people will. But if you're like me, you'll find enjoyment in it. And so it is an average action thriller, but it does have good characters. It doesn't make too many mistakes. And so I think Honest Thief overall deserves a 3.5. Thanks for watching my video. If you've seen Honest Thief, go ahead and share your thoughts in the comments down below if you'd like. And go ahead and smash that thumbs up button if you've enjoyed this video, if you've enjoyed me. And also smash that subscribe button if you want a one-stop shop for action movies, comic book movies, and the occasional horror movie reviews and rankings. And the horror stuff is probably going to be more than occasional in terms of the month of October. But after Halloween, it's probably going to be more action and comic book movie focused. So just keep that in mind. And then, yeah. And I will return next time when I see you again.